The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined, as always, by my general manager, Boy.
Hey!
It makes me the commish.
I gathered.
Did
you pick that just so that you could call yourself the commish?
No, I it's one of those things where we start this show, we do this show every fucking week, and every fucking week I don't think about until after sound test and during greetings and salutations, listener. Fuck, I need to call the boy something. This is what my brain scrambled to.
I feel like that's part of the charm.
I think so too.
The nickname is whatever you happened to be able to get to.
Yeah, it's whatever low-hanging fruit I managed to knock down. Which reminds me of a movie I saw on USA once, but God, that's a long, unrelated story, except for the fact that Raw is on the USA Network.
Still unrelated, buddy.
Yes, entirely. We are here with this slightly delayed Two Nerds podcast to discuss the 2016, if you follow the star calendar, WWE Draft.
It was an interesting little breakdown. Some things went as the internet and very specific people on the internet predicted. Some things, didn't really go exactly as I thought they would, but ultimately nothing super earth-shattering occurred.
They certainly didn't go the way either of us suggested they should. We recorded a show. We will post it at some point in the future. Not necessarily talking about what we expected to happen in the draft, but more of a
direction you'd want to get.
Yeah, what kind of direction we'd like to take the WWE in. Just, because we were having a conversation.
You might not hear that for 6 months.
Yeah, who knows? It might not show up until years from now, but it is what it is. But, yeah. So, you can go to Wikipedia. Although it is a little difficult to find, you actually have to Google 2016 WWE Draft. Otherwise, it takes you to the draft page.
For the first draft.
Well, for the overall draft. But we're not going to go through each and every pick. That's...
Because you have Google.
And this is an audio show. You don't have to watch us. But we will certainly talk about a couple of interesting things. And generally our thoughts overall about this draft. First things first, we haven't been watching, as you well know, but gee golly, do I love Shane O'Mac.
Shane O'Mac is good. Shane O'Mac was grand, but I think the duo with the better chemistry on the drafting podium was honestly Stephanie and Mick.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that in the least. They were more entertaining, but I really enjoyed what Shane brought to
the internet.
Well, to the
that
internet,
he is the internet
to the company in general. Well, you know what?
He's the internet. He's the internet. He called Seth Rollins CrossFit Jesus.
He did, and
he
that
mocked
made me
the Big
laugh.
Show.
Yes, he did. With which way did he go? Mick got all mad. He was like, "Hey, I like the Big Show. I like the Big Show too." Oh man, it was good. But yeah, I think we need some of that. I think lacking CM Punk, there is no voice of the voiceless. So
some of the people on the internet should remain voiceless, is all I'm saying.
That's not you though, listener.
No.
Anything you think is important, and you should put it in the comments below.
So that we can see it, and then like it, and then respond.
Yeah, which I do on basically every comment. Unless you're that guy who kept talking to me about Prince Iokea. I love you, that guy who kept talking to me about Prince Iokea, but after a fashion, I run out of things to say about Prince Iokea. He was a good wrestler, and had a cool gimmick.
Yep.
That's it. That is the long and short of it. He wasn't in this draft, though.
I'd have been very surprised if he was.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of this is so much storyline stuff, and the stuff I would really complain about, or think of as a talking point, shakes out after Battleground, which is where the titles go.
Because right now they're SmackDown has the main title in the Intercontinental, But basically all the secondary ones are on Raw.
Yeah, Raw's got the tag title, the women's title, and the U.S. title.
Yep. And it is still being rumbled that the Cruiserweight Challenge or Open Invitational or whatever the fuck they're calling it, the ultimate prize for that is intended to be the Cruiserweight Championship, which will probably go on Raw.
I don't know. I could see that going to SmackDown because they've got guys like Kalisto and a bunch of other picks that I have already forgotten. So, you know.
And Raw does have a bigger contingent of large men.
Yeah.
Large men with Vince likes.
But, like, it could shake out a number of different ways. This is totally not set in stone yet, exactly what occurs.
A lot of stuff is, you know, they drafted Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to separate shows, right?
No, they're on the same. They're on.
Oh,
Raw.
they are. Yeah. They're both on Raw. I was kind of hoping they would get drafted to separate shows. That way, this match could be the blow off to their 9,000-year feud.
I just think they've got so much chemistry, and the fans are so into it that you might as well keep going. Like, this doesn't feel like Randy Orton,
John Cena 2007.
Yeah, this just like they're still doing okay. So keep them at it. It's something you don't have to think too hard about booking. And we know the WWE doesn't like to think too hard about booking. So, it's really for the best.
Listener.
I was going to cover it up. I was going to say shit.
Yeah, just...
You gigglepuss.
Move on.
The dumb thing they did do is they split up women between two shows.
I don't, like, ultimately, I think that's not exactly the best call. I think it would have been a better call to keep them all together on one show. Yeah. But I fully understand why they did it.
Well, and they're still going to have joint pay-per-views, so I'm sure the plan is, as I'm sure it is with WWE Championship, to float it between
the two shows,
depending. I don't know if I like that, though, because that you've got so much intermingling. You know, it just seems like it's going to be the last draft where it wasn't really separate
The other
shows.
option is to split the championships up.
I prefer that.
You're like the only one.
Clearly. I would prefer it if you could tune into one show. What I would have done, specifically with their limitations, is put the tag titles on one show and the women's title on the other. And I would have gone women's title on Raw, tag titles on SmackDown. Because, like, there's that logic that I hear kicks in there, but it's like, well, you gotta have tag team matches. First of all, no, you don't.
Like, but it is their logic. It makes sense for how they book their program.
But
you want to have the tag titles on your you want to have the tag titles available to you, and you want to have tag matches available to you, and you want to have women's matches available to you because they're part of your bag of tricks.
Yeah, I understand it. Raw is still the flagship show. They still want the overall draw of the Raw brand to be more generalized, more open to various people. I get it. It's safe. I don't know if it means it's good.
Well,
I don't know if it means it couldn't be better.
Both the women's title and tag titles are both on Raw, so
yeah,
like.
Well, but then there's women and certified tag teams on SmackDown. Like, I don't know. I get that you want to keep this, you know, a unified universe. It's the WWE. Just as people can be called up from NXT or make special appearances on Raw, you know, you can have some play between Raw and SmackDown. I'm worried it will be too much.
And
I'm worried.
Water it down.
Yeah, it'll water both shows down. But whatever. That's me. This is the point where I become Mr. Armchair Booker. And while I'm usually pretty solid in my ability to book a show, this has so much more to do with money and buy rates and drawing that I don't know if my expertise applies here.
No, because this is about more than telling coherent stories.
Yes.
This is about filling arenas. And as they put it on the show itself, ratings, man. They were very honest about that. And not having women's wrestling on your show would hurt your ratings.
Potentially, yeah. Certainly. It does cut down your demographics.
And that's not a thing they're in the business of doing, sir.
That's fair.
I don't necessarily know that I agree with it. I think you're right. I think they should have split them up. and had women on one show, and like really push that, make that a big feature of whatever show they're on.
Sure, and that's exactly my point.
And then tag teams on the other, and make that a big feature. Really feature the titles you have on your show, because you're not going to have all the titles on your show.
Right.
So make it a big deal about the ones you have. I think you're right. I think that's what they should do. But they're not in the business of limiting their quarters. They're not in the business of not hitting all 4 quadrants. That's not what they do.
I guess. I mean, but to that extent, you've got the Usos and the Ascension and American Alpha all on SmackDown. And these are tag teams, dedicated tag teams.
I feel like the Usos can be without the tag team titles. That's okay. I feel
and
like
the Vaudevillains. Well, yeah, sure, but like, what are they doing?
The Vaudevillains, like, you're not wrong. Like, and by the same token, you have like, well, the SmackDown divas, Becky Lynch, Natalya. They were the divas who weren't realistically in the title picture anyway. I keep calling them divas because of years of training. Excuse me, the women's wrestlers. I so celebrated when that happened, and now I'm just falling back on bad habits.
But at the same
Apologies,
time,
priests.
I just don't float one title, and that should probably
be the main one.
The world title.
See, I don't even like the idea of floating. I don't like the idea.
I don't either.
Well, just because it limits your storytelling. Because if you have to float it, then you have to keep things back and forth between people on different shows, which limits the storytelling of your champion fighting contenders in the show that they're on.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, WWE, what this does is the problem WWE has had for a while is that their upper card, their main event, is so fucking overinflated. And the problem here is twofold. Problem A, they've got a lot of really talented guys that they've pushed to the moon. Problem B, those guys one by one got injured and left and are now back.
So now they went from having basically no main event to the whole main event.
Yeah, like too much main event. So yeah, split that between 2 shows. Is your main thing over a title feud? No, not necessarily, but that never stopped Raw from existing when Brock Lesnar was off not being on the show.
Fair. But at the same time, if you recall, I wasn't a huge fan of that.
I wasn't either. But, there's a difference between... If it was me, I'd have a different top title for that show.
I know, but...
But at the same time, do I necessarily want to do that? Because we know this isn't going to last.
And all that'll mean is you split up the WWE Championship into that and the big gold belt. Because that's what it'll be.
Sure. Especially after they just so recently reunified it. That's foolish.
Just so recently reunified it, redesigned the belt to a very pretty belt.
Yeah, I like it now.
And they unified it and the women's title, which I love. I cannot praise that shit enough. That's just good storytelling.
Yep. It's good selling of your brand.
And that's actually something I wanted to highlight. Thank you for reminding me. Charlotte, the women's champion, was she 3rd?
I believe she was Raw's 2nd pick. She was 3rd overall. Yeah, she was Raw's 2nd pick.
She went 3rd overall draft, literally right after the WWE champion. The first draft pick was Seth Rollins, then the WWE champion Dean Ambrose, and then Charlotte. Charlotte was 3rd overall draft pick. That is good storytelling. That is how you layer prestige onto your women's title. A title which still desperately needs championship prestige.
Does Dean Ambrose have a middle name?
What?
Because I just noticed for the first time ever that his name is Jonathan Good.
You really want him to have a middle name with a B?
Like Brian or Butler or Bevis?
Just anything.
Just the letter B.
I'm pretty sure if his parents went to all the trouble to name him Jonathan, and he's born to the Good family, they either did it and he's quiet about it because he doesn't wanna, or they didn't do it because they didn't wanna.
I don't know, man. Sometimes when you're born with a fucking superhero name, you roll with it, okay?
He doesn't live in a log cabin made of earth and wood, okay?
Well, whatever. I don't know. He kind of looks like he does.
He kind of does. Also, good job, Dean Ambrose's parents. Good job.
Yeah, that's some class business there.
If you notice, he's also not Johnny. He's John.
Yeah. The biggest thing, I mean, like, honestly, given the way this draft settled out, but for a couple exceptions, I would rather watch SmackDown now.
Like, Raw has some people I want to see. Raw has Finn Balor. Yes, finally. Why the fuck wasn't he on the main roster 4 months ago? But whatever.
Because then we wouldn't have had that match with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Fair. You know what? Fair. Yeah. Entirely. But Raw has Finn Balor. Raw has a couple people I'm really excited for. Raw has some titles I'm really excited for. Raw has Cesaro, and Raw has Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and
the New Day.
And the New Day. Raw has the New Day. They're the best thing in wrestling. Raw has Enzo and Cass. They're probably the second best promo right now after Xavier Woods and the New Day. Like, they have such good shit, but they also have the Big Show. They got Charlotte and Sasha Banks. They got really high-end stuff. Don't sell Raw short. But at the same time, overall, you're not wrong, though.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, though.
Like, enough of it is so...
Like, Nia Jax is on Raw. That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
I love Sheamus. I like...
Sheamus and Mark Henry are on Raw.
Sheamus and Mark Henry.
We haven't seen it yet, but we think they should do a Bebop and Rocksteady gimmick.
I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Just make sure, you know, that nobody's going to get blown up for it.
Yeah, that, like, financially speaking. But, yeah, that would be tight as fuck. Raw needs more tag teams, because SmackDown has some for some reason. Raw also got stuck with the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. For every, yay, Raw has this really cool thing. Raw also has, like, all the people I really don't fucking want to watch.
Like, as much as I will shit on AJ Styles from here to the moon, as much as I believe in our Lord and Savior, John Cena, and his ability to defeat...
In his righteous battle against the Styles Menace.
Against AJ Styles.
Which, by the way, after this pay-per-view, the club is separate. They're on Raw. Raw where Finn Balor is. With Balor Club. Yes, better name than the club. Yes, fix that stupid name. Hashtag fix the name 2016.
What a weird hashtag. I hope it trends.
I hate the club. That's such a dumb name.
Yeah.
What?
It's like
the fucking chess club?
What? The group?
the people.
It's like as dumb as the guys. Oh shit. Wait.
Moving on.
It's a bad nickname.
Like,
it wasn't bad in context. In the context of the promo, that was good. But then they kept up with it.
Then they made it a meme. They tried to make it a meme. They tried to make Fetch happen, and it was worse than Fetch.
Look, I'd be happier if his fucking nickname was Millhouse.
Everything's coming up, Roman. Which is pretty much the summary of his career in the last year or so. Like, and there's Roman Reigns, a talent who I like. At this point, I have to admit, just partially because you guys, well, not you guys, listener, I trust you, I believe in you. But, like, the rest of the internet hates him. Fuck you guys, he's not a bad talent. You're just salty.
I mean, like, I love Rusev, and I love...
Yeah, Rusev is there, and there's so much good shit on Raw. But, like, SmackDown's only 2 hours, though.
Well, and, like, for every...
Like, we watched SmackDown tonight. Just breezed right by. Bang, bang, done.
For every 2 really good wrestlers that Raw has... They also have one equivalent unit of poo-poo.
Like, you're right.
Like, whereas SmackDown, you know, there's guys that's like, I've seen him a lot.
They don't have the big names, except
they do.
Except for Large Competition Jonathan.
Large Competition Jonathan, American Jackass Styles, Randall Keith Orton. I could come up with something funny there. Sorry.
His actual middle name?
Actual name. Fucking Bray Wyatt. They
got Bray Wyatt, who's been separated from the Wyatt family, which I hope means they're gonna do a singles push for him.
They got Dolph Ziggler. They've got fucking Alberto Del Rio. They've got big names. You know, just
that's the other thing. Like, I don't give a fuck about Berto. I never will.
I like Berto.
Berto can't get over with me, at least until now. I said the same thing about Wade Barrett. Give Berto a little gavel and make him say mean things and laugh.
They also got the better of the Kane and Big Show duo.
Like, yeah, in your Kane or Big Show conundrum, we have to take one. You take Kane. Duh! What the fuck, Raw? Why would you voluntarily stick yourself with the Big Show?
But I'm glad Braun Strowman is no longer at Bray Wyatt's side. I'm glad Juicy Booty is over on SmackDown.
So it's just Bray and Juicy Booty?
Bray and Juicy Booty. Assuming Crazy Eyes comes with him.
Luke Harper, yeah, once he's done healing from his millions of injuries.
Speaking of, there was something the boy and I called as a desire early in the show that came to pass. At the end of this Wikipedia page, listener, if you would scroll down, please. It mentions undrafted superstars.
One of the things that happened at my day job was someone made a joke, and I shared this joke with White, and we came up with an amazing scenario off it. The joke was that instead of doing announcements, they would just do the draft like a pickup game of basketball, where they got the whole roster out in a big semicircle, and Shane and Stephanie would just take turns going, Dean Ambrose. And then Dean would like, yeah, all right. All right, next one is, all right, Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar would be like, sweet. And then he'd go over to that side. And then it would filter down until there was one man remaining.
So the people on this list have all been not drafted because they're injured or they're like only special guest guys. Emma's out with a back injury.
Or they're getting fired.
Or they're busy getting fired. Luke Harper's torn his ACL. Luke Harper is Crazy Eyes, by the way.
Ryback is getting fired.
Getting fired. The Rock and Triple H only show up every now and then. Some new Undertaker. They're not worth it. The only guy on here that doesn't fall into either of those categories is Heath Slater, who was...
The Wikipedia even says remained undrafted for no discernible reason. Like, they both got to the end of the lists and went, I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm done.
They drafted Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, and they left poor Heath Slater
alone. Which is meme. It's a meme at this point.
Yeah, it's just too good.
Heath Slater has a very comfortable position with the company as the poop shoot.
He's the new JTG.
Yep, he's fucking. Where's my Heath Slater still employed by WWE counter website?
At least he's still somewhat relevant. But again, like Raw, out of Sin Cara and Kalisto, Raw got Sin Cara. And he's better than he used to be, and he's better than the last Sin Cara trying to wrestle American style.
Because Mystico was fucking awful at wrestling in an American style. Not good.
But Kalisto is way cooler.
Kalisto is the second coming of Rey Mysterio.
Oh, man. Like, that kid has got a fucking future. I follow him on Instagram. He's got a lot of heart and spirit, too. I really dig it.
Emmanuel Rodriguez. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, like, and Raw is sacked with the Dudley Boys. Like, I don't...
It's just that Raw, I think both shows have something to offer, but I think I know why you, and even though, like, a bunch of guys I really like and want to see are on Raw,
Same.
Me as well, rather, like, SmackDown looks better, looks like the better proposition, and it's all down to that third fucking hour. We watched SmackDown tonight. It breezed right by.
Well, and that's part of it. Don't get me wrong. But cats, man. Someday the kitten podcasts will end. I expect that day will come in 2017. Raw looks like it's going to be more of the same. They've kept a lot of the feuds. They've kept a lot of the same guys we've been seeing week in and week out. And while SmackDown previously was just Raw light, yeah. Now they're like, no, we have some other shit now. And they might not have the shit I wanted to see, but...
They also don't have the shit you really, really don't want to see.
Yeah, I don't have to sigh and make fart noises with my mouth as I'm trying to get through fucking Devon Dudley existing in a wrestling ring.
In 2016.
As anything but a manager. I'm fine as a manager. New Dudley Boys, new breed. Bring him in. Who gives a fuck?
You know what? Recruit, like, if they weren't drafted to the other show, recruit fucking American Alpha.
They're too cool to be the weirdo Dudley Boys.
I feel like you underestimate how cool they can make the Dudley Boys.
I feel like you underestimate Devon's inability to tag a person.
No. In this universe, he's not a wrestler.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. But I don't think American Alpha needs the Dudley Boys. Get a couple of guys who need the Dudley Boys.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, shit. Zack Ryder and the other guy.
Yeah, his friend.
Yeah, his friend.
Darren Young.
Yeah, Darren Young.
Make Darren Young great again. Holy shit, the ball's on you guys for making that his catchphrase. Moving right along.
Yes, it's a choo-choo. Like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to go... You know, there's not like a situation... Well, it's unlikely that I'll be watching SmackDown and I'll be like, yes, I am enjoying this promo between these two men. This seems to be shaping up into a good match for whatever title. Well, it's a big show, and you've killed my interest.
That simply will not happen.
It's not likely to occur. A very low percentage, I'd say.
Which increases your percentage of interest in the show as a whole.
Definitely. Anytime, the less I have to fast forward past your shit, the more interested I am. I've been watching, as I say every time we talk about wrestling, old-ass WCW with their mediocre promos, and it's in that crappy mid-phase right now where NWO is big, but nobody else is. And
that phase doesn't end. That just keeps going forever until they die.
Well, no, I mean, like, NWO is the focal point of the show, certainly.
You're at the place right after they form. Right?
Yeah, but, like, they haven't debuted any of the goofy talents I like. You know, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit aren't that big yet. Chris Benoit hasn't had his big feud with Kevin Sullivan yet, where he literally stole his wife.
IRL.
Like, all of these big stars in waiting are yet to be formed. So WCW is just sort of this slow, wafting fart.
And you still fast forward less of it?
And I don't fast forward shit on that. I watch that fucking show. Every now and then I'll leave the room if a match is particularly boring. But goddamn, at least Sting is still super fucking entertaining. At least Macho Man's still there doing shit to really make me sing. At least the Renegade's still alive at this point.
You got Renegade 2 now, buddy. It's okay.
I do have Renegade. Well, now he's on Raw, and I don't know if I'm going to be watching that. Or no, he's on SmackDown.
He's on SmackDown.
Oh, so, fuck there. Yeah, I do have Renegade 2. Chad Gable, for the record. Man, I hope I picked the right one. Otherwise, people are going to be super confused. I don't have him in front of me, so I'm just...
The Renegade one.
The Renegade
Look at the one who's the Renegade.
The one who looks like the Renegade. You know, I'd still prefer to watch that over a Raw that, as you said, is 3 fucking hours. An hour of which I have to spend listening to someone try to write for Roman Reigns and the Big Show try to be relevant and watch Devon and Bubba attempt.
Yeah, like, the lows are low.
The lows are low.
I feel
watch fucking Alicia Fox try not to kill anybody for 5 minutes.
Fuck, yeah. Like, Raw, the highs I think will be higher, but the lows will be infinitely lower. And I'd rather have a nice, smooth wrestling experience.
Now, let's see what shakes out. Our podcast should be coming to you right on track Monday night, Tuesday morning next week. We're going to be talking about Battleground, if everything shakes out the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Things have fucked that up before. But who knows? Maybe I'll watch SmackDown that week.
And just keep the listener up.
See how it feels. But,
it's a new day. Yes, it is. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!